Hashem. Vidu shalayim chai berachamim tashuv besishkan besaycha kasher dibarta besishkan besaycha kasher dibarta velilu shalayim ברחמים תשוב וסשכון בסופו כאשר דיברת אי וסשכון בסייכון כאשר דיברת אי 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 ובני עושה בקרוב David Abdecha Brothers. All right, everyone. We're going to continue. We're going to fine-tune yesterday's shir a little bit. Baruch Hashem, there've been already about, I would say, 8 tefillahs came in, but and terutzim, guys. This is the real deal. We really, this is like the real work is. That's the real work. The real work is what do we do with the learning that we're doing. So keep on sending it in. It's got amazing stuff. So we're gonna strengthen ourselves just a little bit. If you have the pages in front of you, you see this double page. So on the page that you have, let me just see. Let me just see this for a second. On the page that you have, where would it be? Over here? Okay, I see now. Kamocha, kamocha, kamocha. Right beneath the text that we did yesterday of this wonderful ma'amar of the Tzemach Tzedek, which I have to tell you, sometimes we learn stuff and I feel like, well, we're lucky, and sometimes I feel like we learn stuff and I feel like, this is not good. Why? Because that's what I was trying to write in the email, convey to everybody in the text that you received yesterday, is that, I don't know if you've shared this feeling, but sometimes I feel that if certain Torahs that we learn aren't implemented or aren't cried over, I'd almost rather not learn them. It's a very weird thing to say. Can anyone relate to that?
It's almost worse to know something that you're then not taking in than just not to know it.
It's like someone introducing you that you're looking for a shidduch. Someone's introducing you to a beautiful girl. You show up to the date, and then she basically says, you stand no chance, right? Like this is not happening, right? Unless you do so and so, and you know that you're not going to do so and so. You're not going to do whatever it takes to do that next step, whatever that is, right? So you almost at a certain place you say, wow, I can't, my heart tasted something now that if I know that I'm not going to, follow up with that phone call or whatever, it hurts too much to just see what I can't, what I'm not going for. In this case, no one's telling the shidduch, the Torah, she's not saying, you can't have this. She's saying, you could totally have this, but it's up to you. So that's where we're saying over here, the Torah is coming and saying to us, here, I'm here for you. I'm yours. It's up to you. Or you're going to keep on going through a, it's not you, it's me kind of relationship, right? With the Torah. It's not you, it's me. Even to talk in these terms is funny, and I only started thinking about this really just recently. There's as you know, I've mentioned his name so much, of the singer Efrat. He has, if you didn't know what he was talking about, you'd think it's a really beautiful, deep love song. One of his previous albums. And then if you listen closely, the song is called Oraita. But if you didn't know, it would be like Lahavdil Cecilia, right? Oraita, Oraita. He's talking about the beauty of what he didn't know about anything until I met you. And then when I met you, then I understood who I am. And I'm starting to understand who you are. The more I open my heart to you, I get to know myself. And you forget, he keeps on taking you back and forth in between what he's talking about, which is really the Torah. But the way our minds are programmed, we keep on thinking, must be he's talking about a girl. Her name is Raita, or whatever it is. But this is the Torah calling out to us. Torahs like this are calling out to us and saying, this is yours. Show me how bad you want me. Show me how bad you want me. And that's like the point of what we're speaking about the Torah. Going into tefillahs is like I'm saying to Hashem, I'm saying to the Torah, this is how bad I want you. If I don't even understand you fully, but I know that I want you. I don't fully get you, but I know that I love who I am when I'm around you. And I think that's like one thing we could say about ourselves here is that even if we don't fully understand everything we're learning, we know that the version that shows up here and the guy that's sitting here and that's learning with us right now, we like that guy. Like that's a guy that I don't despise, I don't have bad thoughts about, I don't fight with. That's a person I like. So if I like who I am around you, I want to be around you much more, and I just want to get closer to who you are, because that's the person that I like. It's the person I don't struggle with. The other guy has, he struggles so much during the day with different versions of himself. This guy that's learning, that's the guy I could swallow. Not just that, it's the guy I want to be around with. And it's like, we always talk about like we can't be in our own skin. But here it's like, no, this is what we want to be. So therefore, besimcha, keep on pouring it in, and we're going to compile it all towards Tisha B'Av. And do one like little miniature likutei tefillas of Ahavas Yisrael to go into Tisha B'Av with. Because what are you going to do in Tisha B'Av? Right? If chas v'shalom, the way it's going to be is going to be the way it's been in previous years. So, can I hear an amen? No, I'm kidding though.
You weren't serious.
No. Well, we're blessed to welcome back into our midst Rabbi Ari Abramowitz, and Dov, and Yossi, and Noah, and David, and anyone else that, Baruch Hashem, were our shlichim yesterday. In Makom HaMikdash. Now, let's go back into the text, where the page says it's beneath the text of the Tzemach Tzedek. Now we're going to just clarify what the Maimar was talking about yesterday regarding this concept of Or Makif, of a love that surrounds. And what does that exactly mean? This is so beautiful, this page. You see the words Beyachas Shelano? Does everyone see that? Beyachas Shelano? It's right smack in the middle of that page. Yeah? Beyachas Shelano el atzmeinu yesh davar hafuch al hafuch. You ever hear that concept in Hebrew? Hafuch al hafuch. How would you say that in English? What's hafuch mean besides the current state of everything in this country? But how would you define it in terminology? Hafuch al hafuch.
Double negative.
Right. Nothing adds up. It doesn't make any sense. It's double negative. Beyachas shelanu el atzmeinu. Regarding ourselves, hafuch al hafuch. מצד אחד אנחנו מכירים את עצמנו הכי טוב שיכול להיות. We know ourselves better than anyone knows and the best that we can. ולכן אנו יודעים את כל הפגמים והבעיות שיש בנו. So therefore, since we know ourselves, only we know how schmutzig. You know that word schmutzig? Schmutz? Right? How dirty. Only we know what's going on inside those chambers that we don't want anyone to go inside. And we ourselves know that they exist, but we don't even like to go in there either. Even when we do b'dikas chametz, spiritually, it's like, okay, I'm cleaning up the schmutz, right? It's enough for me to know that it exists, but I don't even go into certain places inside of me because it's too dark. We know ourselves. ומהצד השני, למרות כל החסרונות, despite all the lackings, אנחנו אוהבים את עצמנו בלי גבול. We love ourselves unconditionally. Now again, what we're doing in this year is that we're doing a big tikkun for a word that gets misinterpreted. Yesterday we said, love doesn't necessarily mean accept. I accept myself. That's not what we're talking about. How did we define the concept of loving ourselves yesterday and the day before? What did we say in Shir? What does that mean? What kind of love are we speaking about?
Taking care of ourselves.
Yeah, just taking care of ourselves is love. So on the one hand, we know the dirt, and on the other hand, we love ourselves unconditionally. מסתבר שהאהבה שלנו לעצמנו, it seems that the love we have to ourselves, לא רק שאיננה תלויה בהישגים והצלחות, not only is it dependent on accomplishments and successes, אלא היא בעצמה יוצרת בנו תחושה של שלמות. But this type of love creates within us some kind of a sense of shlemus. He's going to explain. האהבה הזו לא טוענת שאין בנו חסרונות. This type of love doesn't come and say, well, in order to taste shlemus, you have to be a complete person that's flawless. It's not what it's saying. אלא פשוט גורמת להם להיות לא רלוונטיים. But it causes the dark sides in us and the things that are lacking to be לא רלוונטיים. You know this word relevanti? Have you heard of it before in English? Right? I love it. It causes it to be irrelevant. Those things that, and again, but when I see it in someone else, oh boy, are they relevant. When I look at it in myself, and I know it's there, it's not really, it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant.
That's not who I really am anyway.
Right. But that's who he really is. That's who he really, it's amazing what we do with this, right? We have to pound this nikuda inside so deep. That's not who I am, but that's who you are. We sit here and we look at it very, it's like, what idiots? Like, who thinks like that, right? Who thinks like that? It's craziness. Somehow this is what's happened in the world. אלא פשוט גורמת להם להיות לא רלוונטיים בבחינת מקיף. This makif energy of love causes these things, these blemishes that I see inside myself to be לא רלוונטי. It's irrelevant, okay? בגללה אנחנו מסוגלים לתעתע את הבעיות הכי גדולות מתחת לשולחן. Because of this love, we're able to sweep the biggest issues we have underneath the table and still love ourselves. ולהמשיך להיות מבסוטים מעצמנו עד הגג. This parish is very modern, right? להיות מבסוטים מעצמנו עד הגג. It means we're able to just brush, sweep things under the table and just be, and mamish be able to be so, how do you say מבסוט מעצמך?
Self-satisfied.
Yeah, to a certain extent. Adagag, he says, right? I can't do that with your baggage. What I see in you that's dirty, something does not allow me to say, I'm going to sweep that also under the table. I don't do it. In fact, I can't see anything else but those bad things that I see in you when I think about you. Okay, that's the lower level. Real chaverim, real chabura grows in a manner that takes the kamocha literally. The healthiest type of a kehila is a kamocha kehila that is capable of doing that, not of ignoring everything, but making it irrelevant in face of the general concept of love. Right? In face of love, your shortcomings are irrelevant. I just want to clarify something. And this is something that's coming up more and more and more today. We're not referring here, chas v'shalom, to things that need to be reported to the police. Okay? I have to be very careful these days. It's amazing. When it talks about certain blemishes that, we don't say stille, we don't say quiet. We say 911 or whatever the number is here in Israel, which 100. I should know what the number is in Israel since I live here, right? It's 100, yeah. Okay, huh? Yeah, how would you know? אך אם מישהו אחר חושף את הבעיות שלנו ומצביע עליהם, but when someone else, he sees our issues and he points to them, אנחנו מרגישים פגועים. We get hurt. We're wounded. Habaya enena informatia. The problem is not the information that's being pointed out to me, because the information I already know. Hi amitit v'yedua lanu. It's real, and I'm aware of my issues. Ha'ke'ev novea mehayachas mizavit ha'reiyah chitzonit. The pain is coming from a place of this outer way of looking at me. Ata mistakel alay mibachutz. You're looking at me from the outside.
Oh, they're kind of pulling it out from under the table. You swept it under the table.
And now you're saying, right? Ata hofech et ha'maaseh hara sheli le'objektivi. You're making my bad action, or whatever it is you're saying, to be what? That's the objective here. Lemotzar mugmar. This is my final product. You're looking at me and you're saying what you see is the final product. Meaning, why am I able to keep on going? Maybe this is a Gewalt. Why am I able to keep on going and move on despite the fact that I notice my blemishes? Because I don't identify the blemishes as the final product of me. I know I'm just in a journey. But when we look at other people, we forget all the time they're just on a journey as well. They're not yet where they want to be either. But when I look at myself, I'm able to identify and recognize I'm traveling. I'm traveling and you don't see my thumbs out, my fingers out. I'm waiting for the next ride. You look at me and think this is where I live, this bad place that I'm portraying, that you see inside of me. I'm still, like we said Shabbos Friday night, Eile Masei B'nai Yisrael. Remember the Torah we said Friday night from Rabbi Eger. We said the first thing Hashem says to a Yid is Parshas Lech Lecha. Lech Lecha. Walk. The last thing Hashem says to Yidden in the last Parsha in Bamidbar, because really Dvarim is now Mishnah Torah, is Eile Masei B'nai Yisrael. These are the journeys of Am Yisrael. What is Hashem telling Yidden? What's the story of our lives? You're all still walking in this world. There's no such thing as reaching a destination in this world. This country is a destination where to do the work. But it's not a destination in terms of the work being done. It's the place where the work happens. But you look at me and you say, you feel, so this is you. I love this wording. It says here, Motzar Mugmar, a finished product. When I look at myself, I don't look at those places as finished products. I'm still walking. V'zeh mach'iv li, and this kills me. Ki ani klal lo itiyachasti elav kach, because I didn't view what you're viewing in the same way, or I didn't even look at you like that. Omer HaTzemach Tzedek. This is what the Tzemach Tzedek says. Now we're going to understand quite deeper what Hillel said. Zeu hadavar hasanu alecha mikol. This is what you hate more than anything. What do you hate more than anything? When someone looks at you and sees you as a final product, where you're at right now. So therefore Hillel says to the ger, you want to know what the whole Torah is about? Kol ma shesanui alecha, whatever is hated upon you, al taseh lechavercha. Don't look at your friends' flaws as final outcomes of who they are. That, Hillel's saying, is the whole Torah. Who wants to cry over this right now? אומר הצמח צדק זהו הדבר השנוא עליך מכל, ובדיוק אותו אל תעשה לחברך. Exactly that, don't do it to your friend. לעולם אל תסתכל על חברך בעיניים זרות. Never look at your friend with these stranger eyes. אל תיתן לחסרונות שלו לתפוס מקום בלבך. Do not allow your friend's blemishes and lackings and shortcomings grab a place in your heart in terms of how you view them. הקפא את המידע הזה כאינפורמציה יבשה. Interesting Hebrew. Freeze this knowledge as dry information, חסרת השלכות, which means, השלכה means, oh come on. Ramificationless. חסרת השלכות. There's nothing you can do with this. There's nothing you can do with this information. Okay, who in this room feels like this is possible? And if you say yes, you have to say how. Well, that means that no one's going to say yes now, right?
I think it's possible.
Yeah, please.
I don't know.
I try to live a life of never ever assuming anything about anyone. You never know.
Where does it come from?
I have no idea. But you never know. You never know what someone's been through. You never know.
Or what they're going through.
Going through, what's the trigger?
Or where they're going.
How can I judge someone? How?
And we do it all the time. So how are we able to really judge anybody?
You can't.
And yet we do all the time. So how do we allow ourselves to do it? That's the question. You're right, and you're right. We do it all the time.
Maybe some of it's
How?
We're almost maybe subconsciously trying to protect ourselves.
Always. We're
And
always in
so
defense
the easiest
mechanism.
thing to do is just say, that's bad.
He's bad.
Right.
I wish we'd said, that thing is bad.
The thing, I'm not thinking that as being the thing,
Him.
that person, him.
Right.
Yeah.
He is, that's what we do. He is bad because his action defines exactly who he is. That whole package, it's all off. There's nothing good that guy is about, right?
As we're
Because
learning.
you're judging yourself. Maybe you say the same things about yourself. The voice that's inside of me, the voice inside isn't telling me you're great, Yossi, you're tzaddik. It's telling me you're selfish and you got holes and chinks in your armor.
And therefore you look at someone
And therefore
else.
I look at someone else and says, yeah, what do you mean? You don't even judge yourself in such a favorable light. How are you going to judge this guy? Judge yourself favorably, you'll judge your friend as well.
So that's another angle of kamocha.
Akiva wants me to say that if we're judging someone, we should always judge them on the cuffs. If we're going to judge people,
Right, we're gonna do it.
judge them, we should just judge them with the benefit of
Right.
the doubt. Make up a story. Ari always tells me when someone cuts him off in traffic. So he just makes up the excuse.
That he's taking his wife to the hospital, she's getting a
he must
baby,
do
yeah.
it, because if it's not that excuse, if it's not as much, it's something else.
Right.
It is something else. So it
But
doesn't
Akiva,
matter.
right, but Akiva should know, you should know something. שמה שאתה אמרת זה כל כך עמוק, it's very, very, very deep. מה עדיף לך, עברית או אנגלית? Doesn't matter. You understand English, right? Of course you do, Akiva. So listen, it's interesting. Chazal tell us, לדון את כל האדם לקו זכות, right? You should judge people favorably. But the tzaddikim ask, why should we even judge? Right? Why are you telling me to even judge something favorably? Why can't I live in a world why should I even ladun? Because Hashem knows exactly how we're built. And in our DNA, this process of judgment, in order to evaluate, in order to define something, if it's good for me or not, I'm going to use koach hashiput, koach ladun. So therefore, you're right. If you're gonna judge. Not if you're going to judge. You're going to judge. So therefore, since this is something you're like a shor muad, it's going to happen anyway. Therefore, Chazal says, "Hevei danet kol adam lekav zchut." Therefore, make sure you know how to do it because you're going to do it anyway.
Go through Pirkei Avos on how you be a judge.
Right. Nachon?
Do it like a judge.
Do it like a menschlichkeit judge. That's always seeking always to bring out the good in people. I mean, that's why what you're saying is so beautiful. You're gonna do it anyway. You're gonna go into this place of judging. Why? Because kind of what you're saying, Dov, is this Indian of it's survival. It's this process we go through all the time to find my own place in the world. It's incredible. I find my own place in the world, but usually based on how bad I think you are, how good I think you are. It's almost never just about me. And just me and Hashem, it's always in the framework of where I fit in society, wherever it is. That's how I find my place in the world. That's unfortunate. But while I'm going through that process, alevai, I can really, really get so much more if this was applied.
Our father, Alav Shalom, used to say in the last years of his life, especially, that love is the best medicine. And you think about our negative traits as being like a sickness, an internal disease.
It is.
And just showing love to somebody, you can give them the koach to overcome.
Absolutely.
Just make them
Absolutely.
human.
Absolutely. All right. Can we move forward, or anyone has any questions? We're all good? Okay. So look on the bottom, please. This is really. It's honestly, I just want to ask you guys, have you ever had like one person in your life that you knew, that when they look at you, there's zero judgment on you? Oh, well, no, I can't say zero judgment, that there's only judgment L'kav zchut? You ever have a person like that when they look at you, you know, you in their presence, you don't feel that they're judging you at all.
My mother and my sister.
Wow. That's a huge zchut because usually it doesn't really happen in families. It's a big thing in families, you know? Sibling rivalry. Right, so I want to say judging l'kav, always judging l'kav. Well, that they don't judge you, the other way.
They don't define you by your negative characteristics or struggles.
Anyone else ever experienced that with someone?
I have a cousin. I can take that, you have like, in the eyes of your mother, you can never do anything wrong, and you know that like it's, sometimes you hear this and you know it's totally,
Yeah.
you hear like a parent putting praise on you that's completely unearned or undeserved.
Right.
That's not what you're talking about.
So forget about family, or mothers, you know. Forget about mothers.
Sometimes, people are just trying to talk you up, like this guy's whatever.
I mean, I'm just thinking. I have an old buddy in Los Angeles, and we could go and not see each other for a year or two, and we see each other. We do music often together. He's probably one of the most special individuals I ever met, and I always trying to wonder, like, what is it? Is it that we just have a lot, and we like to talk about a lot of things? We have a lot of memories. Like, what is this Indian that makes me feel so good whenever we're together? And it recently dawned on me in my last trip. I realized, like, I feel completely not judged to the chova at all with this guy, and perhaps he at a certain point at a certain place also feels not judged by me. And then in a bad way, and then that moment is just harmony. It's just harmony. It's like that's Ahavat she'eina tluya b'davar, a love that's not dependent on anything. That Chazal say ve'en sofa libatel, and therefore it doesn't end. Like those relationships can always be there, and you could re-meet each other after 5 years not seeing each other. And wait a second, it's right there. How could it still be there? We haven't talked. We don't know what's up in each other's lives. There's something about the complete acceptance and love, overriding love, that's there, that could reconnect you to that place right away. Noah, you said you have a cousin like that.
Yeah, and I realized that when I'm with him, I have a friend that's the same way. But I always end up living up to the person that they are judging me.
What Torah does he sound like? This is a Gefat. I end up living based on the way that they're looking at me. No, that's the contrary. That's horrible. That's the Meraglim living up in that. Right, that's the flip side. But what teaching, come on, and Yaniv and Yossi, you have 10 seconds to answer right now. What Torah did he just say? What? But what Torah in Reb Nachman did he just describe?
The judging, finding something.
Azamra. He's saying when I look at someone with the Nekudat Tova, they start acting like that. It's a crazy thing. Mamash. This is 282. Reish Pei Bet. It's the Torah that needs to be repeated every single day. We said just like there's Perek Lamed Bet in Tanya, and your Abba was talking about the Leva Tanya, 32nd chapter in Tanya. We've been talking about in Shir often, over and over again. A lot of Chabadskis have the Perek Lamed Bet on magnets on their walls, on their fridges, because it's like the heart of the Tanya. In Reb Nachman, you need those 2 paragraphs. You could live your whole life if you want to just get through life and feel like you're growing and feel like you're seeking emes and truth and beauty. You take those first 2 paragraphs in Reish Pei Bet and go over it every single day. Reb Shlomo was always asked, what if you had one book, if you had to go to a deserted island, there was nothing, you could take one book with you. So of course the Chabadskers are sitting there praying, he's going to say Tanya, and the Ishbitzers are praying, he's going to say, I'm going to take Mea Shilach. And he's En Ma Lasot, he said Likutei Moharan. And I always wondered, like, what is it? He said, because at a certain point you learn certain Torahs, it's like, this is the whole thing. This is the whole thing. Just like Hillel told this guy, this person that wanted to convert, the whole thing is this way of looking, that you don't want anyone to look at you like that. Don't look like that. Don't look at people like that. It's the same thing over here. It's the same exact Inyan. Now, let's go back inside. Isur ha'istaklut be'ayin shlilit al hazulat, not looking at people with a negative eye. Nachon klapei hazulat, it's true regarding others. Ach lo klapei atzmeinu. But, now he's saying something, he's twisting it around. He said, maybe it's okay, and you should brush, you sweep other people's shtuyot underneath the table, but not when it comes to you. Wait a second. I thought you just told me that I'm able to love myself, and it's fine, it's hovering, it's encompassing. Ma bayao, how could I? Now he's saying, no. You have to go and look into yourself. Look what he's doing over here, and I come across this quite often. Al atzmeinu mutar va'afilu mumlatz listakel ba'ayin bikortit ubochenet. On ourselves, it's mutar, permissible, and it's even recommended to have some type of an ayin bikortit, which means a critical, an eye of critique. מתוך כך מופיעה בתורת החסידות אפשרות של אהבת ישראל אף יותר מכמוך. So here he says here, this is an amazing thing. He says in Chassidus we come to the conclusion that it could be that loving others, you can even love others more in a certain manner than in the way that you love yourself. In what level? Look at this. And this is a teaching from Reb Shalom Dov Ber. This is the Rebbe Rashab. This is the fifth Rebbe in Lubavitch. So the father of the previous Rebbe, Rabbi Yosef Yitzchak Shneerson, the sixth Rebbe, he was the father-in-law of the Rebbe. You know, I just want to do this just to get ourselves, just to explain what it's important. Who's the founder of Chabad, the time of the Chabad dynasty? Who's the founder? The Alter Rebbe, Reb Shneir Zalman of Liadi. He's a Talmid of, who's above him? The Magid of Mizrich, and he's the successor of the Baal Shem. Baal Shem Tov, Magid, Alter Rebbe. Who's the son of the Alter Rebbe? He's the continuation afterwards, the Mittler Rebbe. Reb Dov Ber, the second Rebbe. Who's the third Rebbe in Lubavitch? The Tzemach Tzedek. Reb Menachem Mendel Schneerson, the first. Who's his successor? The next Rebbe? The fourth Rebbe? The Maharash, Reb Shmuel Lubavitch of Lubavitch. Who's his successor? Who we're learning from right now, the Rashab, Reb Shalom Dov Ber. Who's his successor? The Friedeker Rebbe, the sixth Rebbe.
Successor, is it father, son always?
Let's see. Father's, well, not at the end.
No, not at the end. But
Six,
I'm saying
yeah,
2, 3,
yeah,
4.
yeah, but not at the end, yeah. Then six, right? Then Rebbe, again, the Tzemach Tzedek, the Maharash, the Rashab, the Rayatz, and then the Rebbe. When I first started hearing these names, I remember saying, there's no way I'm going to remember. It's too, like, just acronyms, and it all sounds so, I'm Polish, it sounds too Russian. Like, all these different excuses why I'm not going to, you know. But it's important just to figure this out. This is now a Torah from the Rebbe Rashab. Okay? The Rebbe Rashab was the one who basically formed what's called Tomchei Tmimim, the network of schoolings. Why is Chabad? So you see Chabad, you know, they have it down. When it comes to chinuch, to education, it's an amazing thing. They mamish have it down systematically. The way they've really been so efficient. The Rebbe Rashab was the one to hakim all these yeshivas called Tomchei Tmimim. Have you heard the name before? Tomchei Tmimim is a network of Lubavitch schools. But the wording is so beautiful. Tomchei Tmimim. We support the Tmimim. They refer to students always as the Tmimim. Tomchei Tmimim. In fact, when they refer in Chabad to a Rav, so, you know, in other places it's Hey Reish Hey Gimel, or Hey Reish Hey Tzadik, which stands for Harav HaGaon, or Harav HaTzadik. In Lubavitch, it's Hey Reish Hey Taf, Harav HaTamim. In fact, I think it's a typo on their behalf. But Reb Shlomo is in one of the Krachim, in one of the early volumes of Lubavitch publications of the Rebbe's first years. And they probably forgot that you know, he didn't continue necessarily exactly in that path. But they write in there, it's 1951 or 52, I think, and it says, here's a talk given by the Lubavitch Rebbe late at night, Parshat Vayishlach, Thursday night, 2 a.m, that the Rebbe gave to students from Columbia visiting the Rebbe, Talmidim Shel Harav HaTamim Shlomo Karlebach. They write in there, Hey Reish Hey Taf. It's only one spot we found it. Parshat Vayishlach, I think it's Tafshin Yud Beis Yud Gimel, I don't know what it is. Harav HaTamim. Anyway, it's a beautiful thing that students go to institution that they're referred to as Tmimim. You know? Imagine, okay, Tmimim, come, Tmimim, come. Come, pure, simple, whole children. Tmimim is the... That's how they refer to their kinderlach.
Well, it makes sense now.
Now it makes sense. Now we're just going to learn this tiny piece from the Rebbe Rashab. It's so beautiful. Asher be'emet tzrichim litzta'er al yisurei zulato yoter miyisurei atzmo rachmana litzlan. You should be so sorry. It should be more painful to you what someone else is going through much more than your own pain. Why? This is very important to remember. It's very important in kiruv. It's important in everything, but this is really crucial. Ki al atzmo יכול למצוא חשבון שמגיעים לו הייסורים חס ושלום מפני מעשיו הלא טובים. When you look into yourself, you could hopefully, probably come to some justification of why you're going through what you're going through. Right? Because you know inside yourself, it's a good thing to know, to go inside and say, look, come on, I was slacking there. Remember my mouth, that chatterbox, didn't stop blabbing away such lashon hara about someone else. I could look into my own pain and afflictions, and I can go there and say, I deserve the pain that I'm going through. But don't you ever, ever, ever look at someone else and try to console them and say, try to find all the reasons why you deserve what you're going through.
Or say to yourself.
Or even worse. Yeah.
Or even to yourself, I know why you're going through what you're going through. I mean, this happens to any of you that ever sat Shiva, lo aleinu, or if you had to sit Shiva in very unfortunate, reasons. It just happened over here with Esti and Shimon. It's over their son David. We're learning the Ilui Nishmato, David ben Shimon ve'Esther. Is that you get told the dumbest things at Shivas. It's that people are so uncomfortable. No one really knows what to say. But sometimes people will even come and tell you, this will finally, this will fix the inner darkness you're actually working with, or You'll,
I think have it down. It doesn't look like they talk much.
The Druzim don't talk. We went to the Druzim last week. There's no real talking. I mean, I felt very weird because I didn't know what to. None of us knew what to do. You go to them, they come to you and say, you shouldn't know of any more sorrow and pain. Shelot tedu tsar. They come to you and tell you this. So we're sitting there. It's total.
That's only to wish them an early demise. You should know what's up. That means you should die before everyone dear to you dies. How else are you going to know what's up?
They say that's a very dark way.
Not at all. Not at all.
They
Not
said,
at all.
when it's your time, it's your time. They told one of the chabura that we were with that he went to Rabbi. He could have been very well sitting in his living room. That was his time.
Yeah.
They don't view it like.
No, it's not. That's not the. That's not. If I thought that for a second, I would run out of there, very fast. But no, that was not what we were feeling. Tom, that's what you were getting.
Yes, it's true.
Yeah, it's nothing. It's complete. Yeah, but
that's like saying no more tsar.
Shelot tedu tsar means you should only know of good things. It's pshat.
Yeah, but life's not like that.
Okay, but we say simple.
But at a shiva, you're not going to go into philosophizing.
No, you're not.
Right. So
You're not.
you just got to leave it then.
Look, everything is part of Hashem's perfect world. This is, for whatever reason, a tikkun that you are given to do, or tikkun that I am given to do. We don't know what it is necessarily.
Therefore, you should that's
of
of course that's the truth. The point that we're saying is never ever think that your job is to tell someone that while they're in mourning.
God forbid, no.
Right. That's the point. That's the point. You never go to someone and tell them while they're in tsaras, this is part of a perfect plan. Even if we know it's MS,
But it is, right.
But guess what?
Right.
It's that information is irrelevant.
People don't appreciate straight talk.
Mourners,
No, it's destructive.
destructive. That's it. They're not building.
Let them come to that on their own.
Yeah, you're not building in a state of. You're not supposed to build. There's no concept of construct. There's nothing. It's avelus. You're not here. You're
not supposed to say
it's
anything.
halal. It's empty space. Yeah, Micah.
Isn't that almost like what we're saying when we see somebody saying Baruch Dayan Hamet? They just lost somebody, and you're saying Baruch Dayan Hamet. Hashem knows what He's doing. Seems like callous to me.
If we were thinking about what we were saying, right? If we thought about what we're saying, we probably wouldn't say that to them either. We just don't know what to say. Let's take it a step further. It says, the Gemara in Bracha says this, like in this world of a person, something good happens to him, he says, Atov v'ametiv. Something bad happens to him, he says, Baruch dan emet. V'asid lavo. What? Ala kol yivarech atov v'ametiv. There are people that could even, take that to the extreme of trying to pull that trip of theirs on people that are in a state of mourning, because that's real emunah. That's real talk. Would you ever go to someone's shiva and tell them, Baruch atov v'ametiv?
But you also don't say Baruch Dayan. You also don't say Baruch. Two people that are talking about a third tragedy say Baruch Dayan to each other, but at a shiva you say Hamakom Yinachemet.
Right. It's about very nachon. You don't. It's about. It's not. You're not working with trying to understand things. You should be consoled. You should just be consoled. Now, but again, we took this to the extreme, but inside, we look at other people's tzaras, and we think it's kind of like, if you really want me to be your friend, let me really tell you why you're suffering. I could tell you why. That's he's saying over here. Now, but although the only person you can do that to is you. Why? And like he says here, Uchema'amar Rabotenu, third line of this maamar, Im ro'eh she'isurim alav yipashpesh b'ma'asav. The Chazal tell us in brachas, if a person sees that pain and affliction is starting to come on to him, then what is yipashpesh b'ma'asav? It means do a bedek abayit. You check into yourself to see where you're at. You can go inside you to do that bdika, that cleanup, and see where things are at. No one said, Im ro'eh she'isurim ba'im al chavero, yipashpesh b'ma'asav shel chavero. You stay away from that. By the way, you know what we're so good at? The latter. We're amazing. Where we have this amazing gift that we could always do interventions for everyone but ourselves.
Because of exactly what he said before, all of our stuff is under the table, so it's much harder for us to consider stuff for us.
Correct. I can't sweep that other person's yen. וכיפשפש באמת, the Rashab says, בוודאי ימצא, או יתלה בעוון ביטול Torah, meaning when you really look inside, you'll see how much Torah was I really learning, or whatever it is. But only you know your cheshbon of zman. You don't know. Do we know what? Like we're hanging out now, right? Do we know what each of us has to do the rest of the day? I have no idea what you're up against. I have no idea what you're up against the second you go home. I have no idea how many things you have to do, and I have no idea how much time you have on your hands. I only know how much time I have on my hands. I only know what I'm up against today. I have no idea what everyone else is up against today. And even if I did, do I know how people process things? Even if I did know exactly what you were up against today, do I know what kind of kochos it takes you to be like this? No, I know what kind of kochos it would take me to act in a certain manner. But I don't know what it takes of you to be you. I don't know. But when I see what it takes for me to get my act together, I'll accept it with so much love. Why? Because I say, wow, it's a tikkun for my nefesh. What a schus. But we're so big on giving you tikkunim for your nefesh. That we're fine with. אבל על זולתו אינו יכול לעשות חשבונות כאלו. You can't do this חשבון with someone else. כי צריך לחשוב שבוודאי הוא טוב בכל פרט. Because you need to think that this person, in every detail, this guy is good. ולא ידון מעצמו על זולתו, כי בוודאי הוא יותר טוב ממנו, וצריך לדון את כל אדם לקו זכות. Same thing we said before. Right, so the text is faded up here, so I'm just gonna, it's very easy. I'm just gonna read it and try to get the words. וממילא צריך להצטער מאוד על צרת חברו וייסוריו רחמנא ליצלן. When you see someone in pain, you have to be in pain over what they're going through. Never trying to come to any level of justification of, I know why they're going through. The reason you were exposed to their pain is not so you can come up with some brilliant way of determining the makor of their illness. The Rebbe is saying the reason why you were exposed to their pain is to feel their pain. Is to have compassion to their pain. Hopefully. Hopefully. The reason you know that someone's suffering is not to point out the bad things that led to their suffering, is that Hashem gave you the privilege, Hashem gave you the opportunity and the privilege to display compassion and ask for rahmanis on somebody else. That's why you know that someone's in pain. That's the only reason Hashem begins to tell you why you know about someone else's pain in this world, so that you can daven for him. Now, if he really knows now, he's saying, what happens if you really see, listen, I see you're smoking 3 packs of cigarettes a day, and therefore you're so sick. Oi, oi, oi. I'm going to daven for you, but he's saying, I can also reveal to you that it's not the best idea. But not to walk away and saying, what does he expect? Smoking 3 packs a day. He expects not to get sick? That's how we do. That's how we relate to these guys. Whatever the equivalent of that, like whatever else, the clear reason for someone's suffering is.
How can that be though? Because let's say the guy, cigarettes as an example where you can get addicted. The guy knows he's addicted. He's trying to sweep it under the table. And here you're pulling it out. We just said not to do that a minute ago.
No, he said, well, he's going to explain in what manner. Look, you're not sweeping out, you're not taking out from under the table darkness about the person's midos, about who he is. You're saying this element that you have to see, I can't let you ignore it because it's going to kill you. But I can only do it from a place, like what do I have to be? Like what kind of midah do I have to have in myself in order to do it in a way that taking it from beneath the table is still holy?
I want to see how he describes
that. For a second, what he says, what would you say? What do I have to have in me in order to be able to take it from beneath the table and put it back on the table?
See, I think even if you're doing it from a place of love, if this is an area this person is struggling and fighting and he's kilo trapped by this addiction, I don't know that it can be received by that. That person may feel like, don't you know how much I'm struggling with this? Why are you putting it in my face?
What would be the answer?
We could say we're doing it because we love you, but doesn't mean it's going to be received that way.
You have to. The results are never your achrayus, ishtadluses. Whether he does or doesn't, that's not your responsibility.
So then what he was really saying earlier was, anytime you're trying to help somebody through something from a place of love, and he's
not talking about helping anybody. He's saying, how do you look at people? Forget the helping people. I'm taking it. Now we're taking it to a much greater example. But before that, he's saying, no, just the way you generally think about people. Before helping them, not helping them.
I understand, but
now he says, so let's see what he says. אם יודע באמת אשר לא טוב הוא, יגלה למוסר אוזנו, יאמר לו מוסר בינו לבין עצמו. Meaning, you're just now giving him, again, when he says musar, it's not the way we refer to musar. It's this loving, compassionate place of musar. ויוכיחו על מעשיו הלא טובים, שעל ידי זה וישוב אל השם וירחמהו וישב בחלון אפו ממנו. So he doesn't give us the clearest directive here as to how to go to his, but what he's saying over here is that if the love you have for a person is completely lishma and not judgmental in a bad way at all, and you didn't even have any thoughts of looking at a person the way that we've been talking about, right? You're probably saying that's the kind of person like Rabbi Akiva who can then do this inyan of tochecha. But if you're filled with, I know what's best for this guy, and I see how he's so self-destructive, and there's no, it didn't stem from a place of tefillah, and you're not davening and asking for compassion while you're doing it, you're not the guy to go and talk to him. Now, that's a very fine line.
That a lot of honesty.
Takes a lot of honesty. That place is really, really not clear. Because we're usually certain, like when it comes to pointing out someone else's inyanim, I don't even say to myself, do I have to go through a process of saying how honest I am? I jump to the conclusion that what? It's the right thing to do. Why? What do I base it on? Like how do I allow myself... It's for his good, right? I don't get anything from it. You actually get so much more from it than that person does.
And
you're so full of yourself.
If you're saying that you really are in that place, but there's really a shemet of you that's not, it comes through and it doesn't sofeg.
It doesn't absorb. Yeah. It could be, it's amazing. It could be so much about you and not about the person. you helping them. It could have nothing. Sometimes it could have nothing to do with the person. It's fully about you.
Well, what if you can't overcome having this inner resentment towards this person for something they've said or done to you?
Yeah.
So there is an element of it's for you. You do it with kindness and compassion. You say, listen, what you did to me was hurtful to me, and it was really lo b'makom, because you want to not have that resentment against them. You're saying that the real war has to happen internally.
It seems to me that's what he's saying over here. Yeah.
But isn't that a different situation? That's conflict resolution as opposed to
looking
approaching their tragedy or approaching their sorrows.
Right.
It sounds like you'd have to get to
and
a place where you
it is
say,
a little bit
I
different.
recognize you did that just because you love me and you're trying to help me. Then once you're shalem, then I think you, from what we just learned, then you should probably be able to turn around and say to the person, "Man, I know you love me, and that's why you said to me." But in the moment, it hurt.
Well, let's think about it right now. Did any of you ever experience someone calling you out on what you needed to be called out on, and at the moment that they were giving it over to you, it was fully received? It was fully received. Their words, their mussar was fully received and accepted while it was happening.
Yeah.
So we know it's possible, right? So what allowed you to fully receive the mussar that person was giving you?
You need to be in a place where you realize you've already identified that chisara.
Or or you know that there's such a chaver that it's coming from
Not coming from a place of bad judgment
Right.
or of something. It's coming from a good
It's
place.
Usually that happens when
Just talk a little bit louder.
The information is given over in a way that it would strike me as this is related to me, like thought Moshe has gone into it to give over something from the perspective of being me. More often than not, like in life though, what you hear and probably what we give is something given over to another person, but in the frame of reference of me. Like I'm trying to say something to Jeremy, and I say blah blah blah, but it's coming from
me.
The way I see it.
Yeah.
But I find on my end that when I'm the receiver, I receive it so much better if it's obvious that the one who is giving it over to me has tried to put themselves into me.
Right.
Maybe that goes back to what you're saying.
Right.
Like they're now trying to love you as if it. They're
Nachon.
not trying to love you as if it's them. Because when I start to hear stuff like
Kamocha.
you should,
You're saying kamocha.
it doesn't stand with me. Because I can hear, well, that may work for that may work for you.
That's not right.
That's very nice. But
I'm happy it works for you too. It's so true. I have certain friends that I stopped going to them even for advice. Why? Because every time I spoke to them about something I'm going through, it always happened that I learned 3 stories about them. Always. There are people like this, and I stopped going to them. Every time I've gone to it, very holy people, very sweet people, and they mean the best, they mean well. But every time I spoke to them, they never went to that place you're describing, David, of
asking you more questions.
It's not. No, this is an opportunity for me to explain why I had to go through what I had to go through to help you. I'm sitting there thinking like I'm really happy that I'm providing for you now. This self-therapy, but this is not the point why I came to you. It's true. Rabbi Shlomo said something very deep. He said, why does a mother become impure when the baby is born? How could that even be? Impure, so to speak, when a baby is born. How could it be that a mother becomes impure? Because the first lesson that a mother is teaching her child is that I'm going to feel your pain to the extent that I'm going to actually become defiled for you. That's the first lesson a mother is showing her child. Obviously, she's not showing that the baby's a baby. But Al Derech Hasidus, this is how they explain it, that in the inherent relationship between a parent and a child wants the parent not to teach the child from a place of, I know what's right. Here it's clean, let me pull you up. A child always wants a parent to fall to where they are, so that they could be where the child is, in the dirt where the child is, and pick them up from there. Kamocha, like what you're going through, I need to taste what you're going through. Reb Shlomo says, if you ever want to relate to someone who says they don't believe in God and go through that whole mahalach of emunah from a place of mamish, I don't even believe in God, Reb Shlomo says, for a split second, you have to stop believing in God. Now, obviously, that's impossible, right? But just telling yourself this for a second, it's just to be where they're at, and it's for it to be about them, not to be about how you know all these things that are right. You got to be where they're at. Now, it doesn't chas v'shalom mean it has no practicality. Meaning, I want to make it very clear that does not mean. And in that split second, they don't believe in God, because Reb Shlomo said it's okay. Go and find the cheeseburger as fast as you can, because there's room for it. We're not talking about that chas v'shalom. We're just saying in order to be there for a person. But most people hear this inyan of tochecha. They're like, oh, now's it. They get so excited. Now there's a place where I could actually tell someone off. No. That's even a deeper test. Now, that's the deepest test. How sure are you of all those times that you told someone off and you were sure this is for their benefit, I received nothing from it, did you really not receive nothing from it? How often is that not the case? It's very rarely is that the case. When you really have no negiyas, it has nothing to do with you. Nothing. And it comes from absolute love and wanting of tshuva to happen in the world. Then maybe there's a chance for it to actually have an effect on a person.
Well, it says here from the beginning, the Yesod HaHavaya, we're starting off just loving other people. We're not judging them, we're not looking at them. We just love them because they're so gufechad, they're a part of us. And then when we see tzarot that are coming onto them, we got to daven for them.
Right.
We're already now in a place where mom is davening for the person. If at that point you come and say, listen, brother.
If only after that point.
Cigarettes,
right.
I think then if you already come from a
saying.
place of like where you're already like you're loving them, you're davening for them, and then so it's like a mahalach here.
Then Mela, I think it's very good. How do you know if where you're coming from is right? Did you first daven for the person, or did you immediately first go and say, I need to figure out how to show him that he's off? The Chassid says if your initial response or reaction wasn't a place of Hashem, have Rahmanis on him, it means you're kind of judging him.
It's almost like seeing that friend of yours chain smoking those cigarettes, if it really hurts you because of how much he's hurting himself, then you're going to daven for him, and then you
right, yeah,
because you're so gufechad.
So gufechad.
Your friend hurting you.
So gufechad. Shrina, we should be privileged. We should be privileged to implement all these Torahs and bring it down from our heads to our hearts. And this should be the way that becomes the real. First of all, it is the real us. We should be in tune with the real us that is crying when we're learning these Torahs and saying, "Hi, that's right. I'm here. This is who we really are. This is who we really want to be. We want to be our real selves. This is the default of the way Hashem created humanity, specifically the Yidden with the Nefesh Elokit, without getting too much into that right now. This is specifically this is exactly the real us. When the real us shows up, this is how he acts, this is how he feels, this is how he loves, this is how he looks at himself, this is how he looks at other people. Ahavat, we should be privileged for this harmony to spread like holy wildfire throughout Am Yisrael. We'll continue tomorrow morning, B'ezrat Hashem.